Hey, Nicole.
Hey, Nikki.
All right, so you ready for a good one?
Well, the ratings for this one will be a lot higher than the ratings for the other one, but I still have a lot of questions. Or people that try and be deep. I have a lot of questionings.
All right, all right. Let's do our sponsors, and then we'll get to the questionings. So our sponsors are.
And I owe you something, right? I'm supposed to send you some images. So this will be Irby Entertainment, which is our international DJing company that sponsors us every week. We are blessed to be in multiple hotels and clubs around the world now. So I'm just so excited about that. And we're going to be launching our urban apparel line and all of that. So if you're interested in being booked by an international DJing company because you want to branch out and do a little bit more than your local stuff, then definitely see Urban Entertainment, and we are on Facebook.
Sweet. And I want a shirt. I said Irby. I want a shirt.
Oh, no doubt. We got shirts, we have hats. And as a matter of fact, there should be a day that we actually start wearing their stuff, that type of thing. So they can, so people can see, oh, that's what it's about.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
All right, and
Sheer Dazzle Salon, which I am due to see them. Oh, they are my hairstylist, and this is the business of Kiki Jones. As a matter of fact, she's been recently married, so I have got to get her name together, her last name together. So I have to get more into that because now she is Mrs. So we
all
have
right.
Kiki, and we have the ladies of Sheer Dazzle Salon over in Sam's Circle in Chesapeake, Virginia. I have natural hair; it's blown straight right now. And when it comes to natural hair care and any of your hair care needs, please see the ladies there. And Miss Sweetie is responsible for my look for today.
Okay, they have nothing to do with my curly tresses. My
And
mine
that's
blown too.
and and that's only because you're in Delaware. Because
Right.
trust me, if you were in the area, it'll be sheer Dazzle Salon
Yeah, you would drag me off there with you, right?
for
And
sure.
finally,
Color You Cosmetics is
hey,
responsible for this beat face today. I actually, took the time and the initiative to do the whole step of getting all the parts in that I'm able to do because, of course, I'm not MUA. But if you want to become an MUA, definitely see Karen Stallings of Color You Cosmetics. She has her own school here in Norfolk, Virginia, and she also has her own makeup counter and all that going on here in Norfolk as well as in Lithonia, Georgia. So if that's something you're interested in, you're interested in my look or anything that I have going on, definitely hit me up so I can give you the information. But you can find Karen on Instagram, Facebook, and of course she has a website.
awesome. Okay, you ready?
Ready as I'm going to be.
So today we are talking about Master, starring Regina Hall.
Yes.
And this film is about, uh, you know, a couple of black folks, or should I say a few, because there's more than two, a few black folks on a traditionally white campus.
PWI, right?
Yeah, I was trying to remember the acronym PWI. Yes, that's right. Predominantly white. It's
Institution.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this so just juicy tidbits. This was filmed at Vassar College, and this film has won, excuse me, some two independent film awards. One was at the Miami Film Festival. I can't remember the next one, and it was nominated at Sundance. So got some good backing behind it. But
Mm-hmm.
Nicole has some questions.
And it also, I want to say it was 4 tomatoes on the Rotten Tomatoes scale. 75% of the people liked it. And I can see where the 75% comes from because if when it comes to the racial and the political under and some overtones, it
Mhm.
may not be your thing. If you are a strict horror film, a slasher type of person, or you're more into mysteries or suspense, and you put that little added tidbit in, that may be a turn off. So there's some people that may have been like, I won't for all that. I didn't want anything to be that serious or that deep. I just wanted to see, you know, some what do you call that, paranormal activities going on a college campus. If
Yeah.
you know, if you're just looking for that kind of germane type of thing, then this isn't all the way for you. But it does have some other little, you know, hints of, you know, what we'll call you know, historical relevance,
Mm-hmm.
you know, that people of color may have experienced
Mm-hmm.
on a college campus of the like. So yeah.
You used a good word there, hints.
Yeah.
There was a lot of hinting, and I mean, overall, the movie, when it opens up, it gets right into it. No hint there, you know. The main character Jasmine walks in, and she's greeted by a group of white students giving out the room assignments, and she gets the room, and they start kind of giggling about it. You know, they had their own little inside joke, and they weren't letting her in on it. So,
Yeah, we have a new one or a fresh one. It was a statement like that, like
mm-hmm.
almost like they set her up, and
Right.
in their own way they did.
Mm-hmm.
They did. They set
Yeah.
her and her roommate up actually. So
Yeah.
but
And
her roommate was smart. And she left
yeah.
sooner than later.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And that's one of those questions that I'm sure you have, like, when you had a chance to go on holiday break, why for did you not? Because look, my
That
bags would have been packed, and I would have been on the first thing smoking.
and not just, well, you know what it speaks to is that there is a, well, most colleges won't allow you to stay. That's the thing that kind of was, I can't speak for every college's,
Mm-hmm.
you know, they're set up, but I can say the colleges that I'm familiar with, that I've attended and that I'm familiar with when it comes to around here, you know, in the 757 and Childwood area, you have to go. It's not a, you are given an opportunity to stay. There are very
Mm-hmm.
few people that are given an opportunity to stay, and it's a select elite group of people. It's normally your athletes or
Mm-hmm.
people that are preparing to get the campus ready, you know, into the following year. So you're just a low student that has classes
You're breaking up
evenly.
on me. Say that part again
Okay.
about the select few.
Oh, it's, I think it's having the first was just some stuff drag. So what I was saying is that I can't speak for all colleges, but I just know for the colleges around here, you have to pack up to go. It's not a, you can come back.
Mm-hmm.
You can stay type of thing. So I just kind of found that interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and another thing I found interesting, you know, kind of skipping ahead since we're on that part of it, is why did she find herself always in a position where she had to run back to her run to safety?
Yeah, that part. And I think that's one of those things that was kind of lacking in this film. There wasn't a whole lot of backstory about her, the main character, Jasmine. So all you know about her is she's coming to this campus. She was apparently a good student back in high school, and now she's in a situation where she's in a haunted room, and she's kind of the butt of the jokes, and she's sleepwalking.
Well, what she does is this. What they do is this: is that if you listen carefully, you had to really be paying attention. It wasn't overt, and it didn't come up a lot. But her conversation with her professor let us know what her background was, because
Mm-hmm.
when she didn't do well on the Scarlet Letter paper, she explained to her that, hey, I come from the Midwest. I want to say she came from somewhere like North Dakota, somewhere like that,
Mm-hmm.
where it's when she comes from a predominantly white background. So it's like coming to school was not strange that she grew up, amongst people like that. It was just a
Right.
continuation of what she was used to. The other thing was that she was extremely bright.
Mhm.
And then when I kind of looked at her background, and I looked at the fact that there's certain things she wouldn't pick up on,
Mhm.
because if she had been so immersed in someone else's culture and how they did things her entire life, and she didn't have the benefit of being raised in a urban setting or situations, real rooted understanding of social justice, throughout history in this country. That's what put her at a disadvantage, because she didn't know what to look for. Because I think things were happening in her face all the time, and she never
Mhm.
picked up. Was a part of it. So
I didn't
to me, in the end, it was. Go ahead.
I didn't get that. I didn't not that, the part about her being raised in a predominantly white environment, but that things were necessarily going over her head. I saw it as her seeing what was going on and then saying, okay, do I address it? Because if I address it, I'm going to be seen as non compliant and not a nice person. So I saw more of that in her character. And then with the two professors, Liv and Gail, played by Regina Hall, even the conversations they had with her were around, oh, try to fit in. Or on the other end of it is, hey, you're in this environment, you're going to have to push harder than everybody else here. Those are the things I saw, and she kind of went along with it. There was only one scene with Liv where I saw her kind of go, oh, wait a minute. No, I know this stuff. I was a good student back home. I didn't grow up in the city. I grew up in the suburbs, when Liv started to say, well, maybe it's just your
That's
back.
that's that's that that's what I was getting at, is
Mm-hmm.
that I think her background, that her being suburban and
Mm-hmm.
not having that exposure, is what put her at a disadvantage.
Okay, I got you.
Because she missed the symbolism in Scholar when it came to race. She saw no race in that at all.
Mm-hmm.
Period. Pooh. She didn't see any. She didn't see it, and a part of that is, of course, if you're well read, there's some things you can pick up on, but your life experiences allow you to somehow see those undertones as well. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that she was well read when it came to certain things, but not well
Mm-hmm.
read when it came to that. And
Oh,
I think that she had some understanding of her blackness in suburbia, but in a larger scheme, being a black woman, or the African American experience, she wasn't able to make that connection. So you going back and you're reading Skylar, which is, it's dated material. We're not talking about something that happened within the last 20 years.
mm-hmm.
This is going on during a Salem witch trial type of thing. That age, she totally, she didn't see it at all. To the
Right.
point that she didn't even have a topic, which was interesting to me, because it's like, it wasn't that you straight up didn't get it at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I was
Mm-hmm.
like, oh, because I was an
Yeah.
English minor, so that says a lot. So I'm like, wow, you know, I just like, I was like, wow, that wasn't even a close shade. That was like, okay, all right. But then the irony behind Liv, see the part that at the end that infuriated me, how okay
Say that one more
that
time.
just like set me all the way off. I was that how okay they were about her being a liar,
Mm-hmm.
because here is she portrayed herself as being one thing,
Yeah.
When who so you're holding this girl, and by this point, you know, some things happen to her, and we're not gonna spoil it because I don't want to spoil this with anybody. I really want people to go watch this one.
Mm-hmm.
So by the time we get to this point and we discover who you really are, you blasted her for something you were not. That's the thing that made me want to just jump through the screen and punch her. And then the fact that they went through all this rigmarole to give her tenure, to find out
Mm-hmm.
that she was not, she was less than honest. She was a liar. You know, she was
Yeah.
a deceiver. And they seem to be just okay.
They were
Shoe been on the other foot.
they were okay for a reason. Um, yeah, they were okay for a reason. But at the same time, I think what the writer was trying to point out, the writer of the film was trying to point out, was that's the general social demeanor. It's like, oh yeah, that don't let that bother you. In the presence of a black person, don't let that bother you. That's fine. It's okay. What, smoke? No, that might not be fire. Or if it is, it's a little fire. It'll burn out. Don't worry about it. That's what I saw in that scene, and I was like,
Whoa, whoa. So I had a lot of issues with that, but I also didn't understand. There was a part with her roommate, and I couldn't tell whether her roommate was a part of something or whether she was a victim of something. So I leaned on the in the woods
oh,
because
that part.
remember she was seen in the woods. So I couldn't tell whether she was a part of something and she got caught out there and bitten, or whether she was a victim, of an event, and
Mhm.
she didn't really want to talk about it because she didn't feel like talking about it was going to serve any greater good. And on top of
Right.
everything else that was going on, she decided to leave the campus. So I came to my own conclusions about that, but it wasn't really clear. It also wasn't clear to me. Okay, there was some bugs involved in this movie. Just to go ahead and give you all a spoiler alert. And I just think about it right now. I was like, oh God, thank you, Jesus. Because I had this thing about bugs, and then I have a thing about certain bugs, and when those kept popping up, and when she said, well, they're fumigating my space, the fact that they weren't in her mind, they were real, was a real problem for me. Because I'm used to, in movies like this, it's a psych trip. It's like,
Mhm.
did you see it or didn't you? We kind of found out you really didn't see it. But these things were real. So I'm like, okay.
Which leads me to the other challenge that I had with the movie, because I kind of get where the symbolism was trying to go, but like you said at the beginning, it's either you're going to give me paranormal and go all the way with it, or just give me a thriller so that I know which way I'm going. Because the fact that her character was seeing the bugs and then seeing other things in the house, they never got around to explaining the bell how or why. So it's like little those things kind of were like, okay, so what was that? And was some entity connecting her and Jasmine? Or was it all just a coincidence in everybody's head?
What a coincidence. But what I really do think is that there are two things happening at one time. I do think there was some paranormal activity happening.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that. Because she was seeing some things that weren't of this time. And I do believe that. I also believe that there were some things happening on campus that were dramatic, some
Mm-hmm.
racial things that were going on. And
Mm-hmm.
both of those things happened at the same time. cannot cannot make you feel comfortable enough, in any environment. Because it's one thing for you to battle this, the Ku Klux Klan, the Proud Boys, whatever. I could see it and put my hands on and say, okay, I know what I'm looking for when it comes to that. I know not to be out, I know not to be out at night. I know not to be by myself. I know certain places to go and congregate because, or not. I know I can fight against that. What I can't fight against is paranormal aspect of what's going on. I would tell you another thing that made me kind of upset is that Regina Hall's character, she told that girl basically that this is something that you're going to have to deal with, as if she wasn't experiencing paranormal phenomena. That made me mad because she wasn't honest. This is true. Being the minority, if you flip it on anybody, if you're the minority, it's an uncomfortable situation, period. That's, whether you're the only white person in the room, the only black person, only Asian, only gay, only whatever, it's an uncomfortable feeling, when whatever that predominant mindset or feeling or culture, and you don't know where to find yourself and how to blend in, it's uncomfortable. Let's be honest. But I didn't like the fact that she misrepresented what was going on, because I could take it better if she hadn't experienced the paranormal and told her that. But don't tell that girl, oh, this is this is something you're gonna have to always experience, because if you're a smart black kid, you're going to thrust into these. No, that's not so, because you were smart in school. I was smart in school. I wasn't thrust into any of this. So now I probably wasn't as smart as that girl though. Jasmine, I think, was a genius. But my thing is that look, I wasn't dumb though. But my thing is that I didn't like how that kind of emerged, and then I didn't like the fact. Then she kind of got like sanctimonious about it, like on her little pedestal, like, and we did her, this girl so dirty. You are part of that because you weren't honest. you did fail her, and she should haunt you for the rest of your life because you weren't honest.
And that's kind of what I was getting at with the thing. There's the thing that I'll just say it, white society will do to black people, which will say, all right, we come in at this level, but in order for us to consider you at this level, you got to do this much more. And then you have her professor, one of her professors, in this case, Gail, saying, oh, this is the way things are and you're going to have to deal with it. Just go ahead and push through it, kid. Even though she's dealing with the same thing, instead of coming to her, like you just said, at a point and say, I see it. I know you're going through it. I'm going through it too. Let's work through it together. Or girl, go on back home. Go to community college because this place will kill you.
Will kill you. And then the other thing I didn't get was, I didn't like the fact I saw no African American males at all. All the characters of color were us, and they were female.
Right.
Where were the males? So I'm not sure what that was supposed to mean. But the scary thing is that
you didn't see
statistically speaking, huh?
You didn't see any black men until the very end. At the very end, there's 3.
Let's see.
The last scene where Gail is stopped by the officer. And he was like, I want to see your ID. And she was like, no, I don't live here.
I don't work here. Yeah.
Yeah. And she left.
I didn't see them.
That scene, they're there.
Wow. At night. At night. And I totally missed them. So that means that they're relevant. If you wait to the last scene to show them at night, and the focus is between her and a white police officer, stop her to see her ID, you might as well not have them there at all. That's the way I look at it. So I had a problem with that. The other thing that was kind of off to me was I didn't understand the scene where Gail was jogging and she saw the burial. Whose burial was that?
that was one
Was
of those
there
scenes.
a witch? Who's there?
I was That's what I was questioning. I was like, how much of that was real? Because they all turned and looked at her. I was like, how much of that was real and how much of that was in her head? Those are those fuzzy
And it's the
lines.
paranormal.
Say again?
That's the paranormal. No different. That's the paranormal.
Mm-hmm.
So she was at a place to see a moment in time of because she kept seeing, she kept on experiencing that. She experienced that in the scene before our last scene when she was in that room, and she began to realize that history there repeats itself.
Mm-hmm.
So the same, it may not be the same people, but it's like my godmother says, self-same spirit.
Mm-hmm.
Keeps on visiting, because that's what's permitted and what's allowed. I had questions about that, and then it was another scene I had questions about too. I had questions about her seeing the maid crying. I didn't know where she fit into the story. I had questions about that. I had questions about the diary that Jasmine, I think her name was Jasmine, right?
Mm-hmm.
That she found, and she kept reading, and it was like this one word entries. Like, whose diary was that? The girl looked familiar, but was that her mom? I mean, I didn't know who this person was, or was it just somebody I was kind of confused by all that.
The opening scene kind of confused me. Not the very first scene where she gets to campus, but where she's going to get her first meal. I was confused because the cafeteria lady was very pleasant with everybody. Hi, how you doing? Oh, your name is? All right. And repeating the name the whole thing. And then she saw Jasmine and just looked at her like she hated her. I was like, okay, that's a strong reaction for someone you're meeting the very first time.
Well, at the end of the day, it's because she didn't belong. And the whole setup was that to prove to her that she didn't belong.
Mm-hmm.
Liv belonged. Gil had pictures of which African Americans belong and which ones didn't. And she was the token dagger, you don't belong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Her things, it was always a reminder that she didn't belong there. And I'm like, well, how many different times is someone going to have to tell you or show you that it's for you? That's the kind of like,
Yeah.
and people,
You're breaking up again.
Okay, sorry, I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
Am I better?
It's still choppy.
Not sure, because I can see myself clearly, and you're frozen on your side.
And see,
No, you're not. But are you?
now the soundtrack was off for a minute, and I think now you're okay.
Oh,
See,
you so I think it's probably the app.
maybe because you're choppy on your end. Like you said, I'm seeing everything fine on this side. And now you're.
So, what do you want to?
Okay, now you're back.
Okay, let's go ahead and wrap it because it seems like the more we talk, it's like it's not helping. So, I think it's worth to watch.
You think it's worth the watch?
Yes.
Okay. Agreed. It's worth the watch. It's going to leave you with a lot of questions. Um, but it's kind of an interesting discussion point, and I think depending on your college experience, you'll be like, I can relate. Oh no, this don't make any kind of sense. Um, the writer is Mariama Diallo. And just a quick tidbit, she got the idea for this film when she saw, I think she went to Harvard. She was in New York and she saw the master from her campus across the street. So she hollers out his name, Master Smith. And he kind of turned around, startled. And in that moment, she was like, "Ooh, that did not sound good coming from a Black woman calling out to a white man, hey, Master Smith." So that's what got the ball rolling on this whole story. Overall, I think I'd give this about a 3. What would you give it?
In order for us to kind of get the full um, and when it comes to the angle of the geopolitical, racial line that I wanted to toe, it did a pretty good job with that without being too overtly, racist. If you get my gist, it's just like it.
Yeah.
On average, we all go through some of that,
Mm-hmm.
and I get it. So it allows you to feel like watch that dishonesty component was killing me.
Mm.
Because I really do believe that Gail been honest with her. I think she read that.
Mm.
I must be freezing up again. Unless
Yeah.
am I freezing up again? Okay. Well, we're gonna go ahead and end it and remind everybody that they can find us on YouTube under Media That Moves We, and they can find us on Facebook under Movies That Move We. And if you're interested in joining our group, answer 3 simple questions, nothing major. It's not security questions that will unlock all of your Bitcoin and bank account numbers and things like that. We can't. That's not what we're trying to do. We're just trying to make sure that people are diaspora experience.
Okay.
So that's where we are with that. And you can follow your moderators.
Yeah. You will find me at nikkeiwrites.wordpress.com. And you'll find Nicole at NicoleDeCandice.com. And she has some things coming up real soon. So keep your eye out on her page. And don't forget to follow our founder, Don Mescal, on his page, donmescal.com, and on Facebook, Don Mescal Author. Of course, some of you know he passed away in January, so there won't be new stuff up there, but definitely go and check out the stuff that he's written. And also look him up on Amazon.com. He has, I think, 3 books and a bunch of anthologies that he's been in. So go check him out. All right. That is our show for today. Until next time, see you later, people.
Bye. Take care.
Bye.